What is a coral reef? Coral reefs have been around for millions of years, and still less than 0.1% of the world's ocean floor is covered by them. Coral reefs are living organisms that are made up of plants, fishes, and many other creatures. They are made up of tiny animals called polyps. They are fixed in one place and are the main structure of the reef. Each polyp is connected by living tissues to form a community, and only the top layer of the coral reef contains living polyps. Hard corals build by secreting calcium carbonate skeletons. There are three types of reef: fringing reef, barrier reef, and atolls. First, the fringing reef. Another name is shore reefs. They are reefs that grow directly from a shore. When the land is shallow, interracial sand bottom lying between the beach and the inshore edge of coral grows, but there are no lagoons between the reef and the shore. The sea rises into the shallow land and creates coral reef. This type of reef is the most common one.
I'm sorry for the things I've done.
Then we have the barrier reef. They are the linear reefs that occur further in the offshore that are parallel to the coastline but are separated by the deeper, wider lagoon, which is when the land mass sinks due to erosion or shifting crustal plate of the earth. The shallowest point that they can reach is the water's surface, forming a barrier.
Feet from the edge and I'm breaking, sick of all the shit that I'm taking. Can't stand to do what feels right.
Finally, we have the atolls. It's roughly a circular oceanic reef or ring of coral that is created to protect a lagoon, and usually in the middle of the sea. It forms when Iceland, surrounded by fringing reef, sinks into the sea, or when the sea level rises around the corals. Now, let's talk about the ecology of coral reef. Coral reefs are home to more than 25% of marine life. Some specialize in eating different kinds of algae, which is keeping the coral form smothered by their potentially deadly competitors. Sharks, groupers, and other kinds of big fishes eat smaller fishes and other organisms to make the population balance. Parrotfish actually eat the reef itself. Their scrap in the coral is trying to get the small algae that is living in the coral polyps. They crush up the coral skeleton with their teeth in their throats, and the product is at sand, as you can see it on the beach, the beautiful white sand beaches. Shrimps, or the cleaner fish, which keep all the other fish healthy by releasing them parasites. At the same time, crabs and sea cucumber corals is cleaning up the waste on the reefs and the ocean floor. Even marine worms and snails have a very important role in the reef ecosystem. Worms drain organic matter in the water, while snails like limpets and conch eat algae, but sometimes snails become supper for giant snails. Every fish have very important roles that help each other and the environment that they live in healthy and clean. Now, where are they found? Corals could be found throughout the ocean. Coral is 0.015% of the ocean. From deep, cold water to shallow, Tropic of Cancer and Capricorn in the Pacific Ocean, the Caribbean Sea, the Red Sea, and the Indian Ocean. It also can be found in the equator, where there are warm currents flows out of the tropics. The conditions needed for coral reef to grow. First, they need sunlight. Corals need to grow in shallow water. Corals depend on an algae called zooxanthellae, which grow inside them for oxygen. These algae need sunlight, so therefore corals need sunlight too. They also need clear water. To get sunlight, corals need clear water so sunlight can go through. Then, they need warm water temperature. Reef building, corals require warm water conditions to survive. Coral generally live in water temperature between 20 and 32 degrees centigrade. They need clean water. Corals are sensitive to pollution and sediments. Sediments can make water cloudy, which block the sunlight. And last, they need salt water. Corals need salt water and require a certain balance in the ratio of salt water. Their importance for marine ecology. Coral reefs are really important for marine ecology because they provide some shelter for a variety of marine life. They also create sand for beaches. They provide a habitat for many species. And the last point is that they protect coastlines from damaging effect of waves action and tropical storms. Their importance for people. Coral reefs are important for people because they provide us food, they provide us with recreation, they contribute to local economies through tourism. The last and more important point is that they provide natural resources such as medicines, which can treat diseases such as cancer, arthritis, human bacterial infection, Alzheimer's disease, heart disease, viruses, etc. Major threats which they face, both local and international. Destructive fishing practice. Bottom trawling is a major threat for cold water coral reefs. Overfishing is warping the food chain and affect the ecological balance of the coral reef. Careless tourism. This includes careless boating, diving, snorkeling, when people touch the reef. Pollution. This includes urban and industrial waste, sewage, agrochemical, and oil pollution. These increase the level of nitrogen in seawater, which causes an overgrowth of algae cutting off their sunlight. Sedimentation. Erosion caused by construction, mining, logging, and farming increases the level of sediment in the river, which is then delivered to the sea, and so cut off their sunlight. Coral mining. Live coral is removed to be used as bricks, road fill, or cement for buildings. It's also removed for tourist souvenirs. Climate change. Coral reef cannot survive to water temperature too high. These increases are due to global warming. What WWF have done to protect them. A commitment by the 6 Coral Triangle Nation to protect the marine environment of the region. A new zoning plan for the Australia's Great Barrier Reef Marine Park that created the world's largest network of marine highly protected area. New commitment for corals and mangrove protection on every continent. The passing of the Marine Turtle Conservation Act by the U.S. Senate, establishing a fund for marine turtle conservation, of which a good portion is expected to be used for coral and mangrove protection. An EU regulation to eliminate trawling near the UK's trawling mounds. The incorporation of cold water coral protection worldwide on the agendas of the International Coral Reef Initiative. What we can do to help protecting them. First, we can make a donation to WWF to help them protect it on the following website: We also can make sensibilization campaign. And the easiest one, we can show good example to others by doing it yourself first. Here is a list of the priority place to protect: Coral Triangle, East African coast, Galapagos, Gulf of California, Mediterranean, Madagascar, Mesoamerican reef, Pacific Southwest, and the West African coast.